There you can see all of the roots. Hey everyone, today I'm going to tell you why this Aroid mix pull is doing so much better than this moss pull. This is a traditional sphagnum moss pull. It was built with some fencing, I believe, and it's a Leca Triumphant or Splendid, just a really large leaf Splendid, and we've been watering the pull to the best of our ability to keep it hydrated as best as we can. That's usually about once or twice a week. This moss pull we built about a month ago now, and it is a plastic-based one from Amazon. It's typically called the D-shaped moss pull because it is shaped like a D and it has a flat side for the plant to grow up on, but that is not really the secret sauce here. Of course I like that and the bigger gaps in these pulls, but the secret sauce is really this Saran wrap. Shout out to Oh the Places You'll Grow for that idea. And also the moss pull, this exact one I got from Plant Guy J over on TikTok. Wrapping the nodes with Saran wrap allows the hydration to stay inside of this Aroid mix and that cocoa husk to stay much more hydrated than the typical sphagnum moss. Also, we know it's sterile, so it doesn't have a lot of opportunities for rot like the sphagnum moss does, or even bugs, be it springtails or spider mites. But that trapping of humidity allows the roots to go crazy in this pull. And because it's Aroid mix, it's going to stay wetter longer. And not wet, but damp. You can see the roots in there tapping in all over. And I'm watering this one only really about once a week, or really whenever I remember. And it does kind of go right down into the Aroid mix, so I'm reluctant to water it too much so it doesn't oversaturate the roots. But I'm definitely spraying in here maybe once a week. And because this one is tapping in by keeping these nodes hydrated, it's creating naturally larger leaves. So this largest leaf on this Triumphant is larger than some of the largest leaves on this Triumphant, which has been growing a much longer time. My main critique with these moss pulls is that they are plastic that come with like a film that you have to peel off, and they're kind of annoying to build. You have to fold them over on themselves and then fill it with Aroid mix, but they are pretty cool and reasonably priced. I'll link them down in the description if you want to check them out. But I'll now unwrap this moss pull to show you guys exactly what's happening beneath the Saran wrap and really the magic of using this style of Aroid mix pull, I should be saying, with this Philodendron Splendid or Triumphant. It's the same plant. Triumphant's just typically a larger leafed plant. There you can see all of the roots that were under the Saran wrap tapping into the pull. And that Saran wrap keeps the humidity high at the nodes and allows them to root in. So now I can either take this top cutting by cutting right here and removing the top and having a whole new plant, or I can let it root into this pull and get those ever-growing, really large leaves on my philodendron. And that's what I think I'm going to do with this plant. And if you want to take these moss pulls to the next level, this wicking method that Monica came up with is genius. So you take essentially a rope or a wick and add in some water in a jar. You're going to then set this down below the plant, and through capillary action, this wick that you run up inside the moss pole when you build the new ones will then keep the Aroid mix hydrated. It's not going to keep it wet, but it's going to keep it perfectly damp. And then you're just going to refill your little reservoir when it runs down. We're doing this with a Meekins at home and it works fabulously. You could even use this wick to make this a self-watering pot. You do that by weaving in the wick into this pot, and then you could run it up the Aroid mix pole so it keeps the entire pole and your pot hydrated, and you simply just refill this. And this is already working. All the way down here is wet. And it would work in reverse also, and it would go against gravity because of capillary action. That's how plants pump water from the lowest parts of their roots all the way to the top of a 50, 100-foot tree. And every node that we've done the Saran wrap method over has put out crazy amounts of roots. But once they've established themselves into the Aroid mix pull, it's fine to then remove the Saran wrap. You'll get a little dying off of the roots that didn't go into the Aroid mix, but that's fine. A little air pruning is totally okay. And again, because those roots are tapping into the pull, these subsequent leaves that will grow up, and I'm going to put in a connector to this pull, those next leaves are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, as long as I don't cut the plant, but I allow it to tap in to this Aroid mix, and the plant's going to think it's a tree because these are epiphytes. It's going to keep growing progressively larger and larger leaves. And eventually, hopefully I can have like a 5 or 6 foot tall climbing philodendron. It would be so cool. So thanks everyone for watching this video about Aroid mix versus moss pulls. I'm sure this moss pull would do fine with some Saran wrap, but I'm just not a huge fan of sphagnum moss right now. But you can totally use sphagnum moss. I'm just really loving the Aroid mix style of pull. poles. So thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. If you did enjoy this type of content, click the like button so I know what type of content you like. And if you want to come back for another video about plants, click subscribe and we'll see you next Saturday for another video. Have a great day.